Hi, welcome everyone. This webinar is hosted by the Oregon Farmers Markets Association. We support farmers markets across the state with training and advocacy and promotion. And besides workshops like this one, we hold monthly online meetups for market staff to talk shop about what they do. We have something scheduled almost every week all the way through the year. You can check out our 2024 schedule online and see what's coming next. And we hope you'll register and join us again. And we also have recordings of all of our past workshops. We have a big library online in YouTube. A couple things about how our sessions work. My name's Amanda Cross. I'm with OFMA and here as host today. Okay, today we're going to hear from Megan Bullock of Studio Mesh. Mesh created all of OFMA's branding and logos and has designed several of our online campaigns over the past years. And today Megan's here to share the final installment of Mesh's Marketing and Promotions Toolkit for Farmers Markets and Vendors, which you can find on OFMA's website. Hi, Megan. Please introduce yourself and say hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan Bullock. I'm so happy to be here today. Yeah, so I am the director at Studio Mesh. It's my company I founded about 15 years ago, and we do visual communication and market strategy for different social impact companies and nonprofits all around the country. I'm based in New York. I'm originally from the Appalachia area in West Virginia, so I do a lot of work there as well. And today I'm talking to you from Donner Lake in California. So I travel a lot for work, and I've been really happy to be working with Oregon Farmers Markets over the past 5 to 8 years. I've worked with farmers markets all over the country, but I've loved having this partnership with Oregon Farmers Market Association and being able to work with all of you all. So today we're going to be talking about your farmers market online, managing your online presence. Let's get started here. So I just told you about myself and my company. We make brands, websites, Printworks, digital media, objects, and other fun stuff. These are all the different types of things that I do: branding to web design and development, print design, package design, content strategy, campaigns, environmental design. And I have taught in 2022, I taught a brand workshop with OFMA. So if you go to the OFMA website, you can go and watch that brand workshop if you weren't able to participate in that and learn a little bit more about branding and brand strategy for farmers markets. And then last year, we taught a workshop on print and digital design, on signage for farmers markets and packaging design. So that was really fun to teach. We spent a lot of time talking about stickers and using Canva. So that's also accessible to all of you on the OFMA website. These are some different things that we make at our studio. Okay, and I just want to give you a little overview as we get started on how we think about communication design. So we think about each of your markets has its own brand identity. A brand is just an identity of your market. It's a collective identity. There's the verbal, the visual, and the experiential. So we recommend that all markets have, excuse me, a strong brand, that you know who you are, you have a logo, and you're able to communicate about your market before you start communicating about your market on all your different communication channels. So these are all of your different communication channels: in-person interactions, products, websites, social media, print, and signage. And today, of course, we'll be talking about these two channels: web and social. And all of these channels are all different ways for you to connect with your target audiences. So these are your current customers and also potential future customers. So this is really a constellation of ways that you can first connect with customers and new customers, and then also to continue to reconnect and to keep yourself visible in their worlds through time. Yeah, and so when people feel like they have an authentic connection with your market, they will help you then share your message with new audiences. So this is this is our test. For us, this is the ultimate proof of concept that we're doing a good job communicating. We've picked the right channels for a market or for a company or an organization that we've worked with. We're reaching our target audiences, and everybody loves what we're doing so much. It loves what the market is doing so much, loves what the company is doing. They feel an authentic connection, and they start to tell other people. So they start to share your story with new people that you haven't connected, and they become what we call like a brand ambassador or an ambassador for your market. So that's really important in digital. We're going to talk about that today. Okay, so putting your best foot forward on the internet and communicating your market brand. The internet is really overwhelming. There's so many different things that are happening in the digital world. It's really a new frontier. There's lots of different places that you can appear, and it's always changing and evolving, right? So we're going to talk about some key things that you should be doing for your market today on the internet. Okay, so these are the 3 channels of digital communication that that we think are most important: a website, social media, and then third, email marketing. Email marketing should only happen after you have a website and a strong social media account. So this is something in the future. All your different social accounts, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, which was formerly Twitter. You don't need to have accounts on all of these platforms. You need to choose an account that's a platform that is best for your market. So we're going to talk about how to do that today. Once you have strong, we call this owned media. Once you have a strong presence in a website, in a social media account, maybe you decide email marketing is right for you. You can also then start sharing your content on other people's websites. So you can have features on other people's websites. You can put your website into different directory listings. So you can put your market into a Google listing if you have a permanent address. You can also submit your market to other listings in Oregon. I think you can submit your market to the Oregon Farmers Market Association directory. So the more places your market is listed on the internet, the more traffic you're directing to your website. So these features really help people get to know who you are. And then you can also you can be featured on other people's email newsletters and featured on other people's social accounts. So that's kind of just an overview of the ecosystem that we're looking at. Good digital communication promotes your market, expands your reach beyond your location. So digital communication, unlike print, allows you to reach people all throughout Oregon and people that are interested in your market across the country, across the world. Good digital communication builds relationships with people. It creates space for conversations with your customers outside of the market. And it shares correct information. So it makes it harder to spread false information if you're experiencing any issue with that. When you own the narrative that you're telling about yourself, and there's a website and there's a social media account that are verified, that's where you can control the narrative about your market. Okay, so I would like to start with talking about websites. But I also wanted to show you, just thinking, is this a good time? Before I take a break today, we'll look at, today we've released the social media toolkit on the OFMA website, and it also goes over a lot of this information as well. So I'll share that before we take a break today. So I'm just going to jump into talking about websites here. But actually, before we get started, I haven't looked at the chat here. Are there any questions that anyone has about what we've talked about what we're going to talk about today, about digital ecosystems, anything that I didn't mention above that you want to make sure that we talk about? Feel free to, yeah, I see. Ayana, you're raising your hand.
Yeah, I'm curious of knowing that farmers markets are targeting like local market goers, like people that can't get to the market. How does that influence or change the way marketing works? Kind of going from a maybe a broad, like we want as many people to come to a more like value-driven quality kind of marketing to so the right people get the right messaging so they can come, if that makes sense.
So you're asking, are you asking
Yeah,
how can farmers markets have a different, because they're so local, how can they have a still have a presence online in the digital space?
I guess I'm asking when I think about marketing, usually the goal is to get as many eyes on it as possible. But knowing that markets need to get local eyes on it, how does that change like marketing goals and marketing strategies for a local audience?
Okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit. Yeah. And let me just ask, how many people here, does everyone here have a website? Can you raise your hand if you raise your hand, or you can raise your hand on Zoom if you have a website? I'm looking through the chat here. Two, three, four, five. Okay, great. So we're going to talk about websites. And then what about how many of your markets use at least one social media account? Great. 8, 9, 10. Okay, great. So it seems like maybe even more of you have social media accounts and websites. So, okay, beautiful. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about websites first, and why I think they're important. So, I have been building websites for the last 15 years, and I have built really huge web ecosystems of 10,000 page websites for hospitals. And then I have built really teeny tiny for 1 page brochure sites to 5 page sites for local businesses, for farmers markets, for temporary community projects. So websites can spread the whole gamut. I've had lots of experience building them. And I think it's really important that if your farmers market can have a website, that they have one. So the pros of having a website there's one central place to hold your primary information for everyone to access. And if everyone just wants to mute, oh, okay, I got it. Actually, I was able to do that. So there's one central place to hold your primary information for everyone to access. A website provides legitimacy for your market. It helps prevent the spread of false information, and allows you to control the narrative, and all the market information. A website also, having a URL, a domain name, allows for other websites, other places to redirect to your market page. So that's a really powerful tool online. Cons of a website are you have to set it up. That can be overwhelming, right? You have to pay for it annually. So there's lots of different ways that fee structures can work, but you have to, at the very least, pay for your domain and hosting annually. You can't buy it. So there's a cost. And you have to make sure that your information is up to date and accurate, which is harder when you have a bigger website with lots of pages, but easier if you have a smaller website, to just log in a few times a year and update the information. So on your website, we think of information design as in hierarchies. So the number one thing to share with everyone is your market name, right? I think we can all agree to that. Number two, when can we come by? So your hours that you're open, hours of operation. Number three, where you are, your address, city and state. How do we find out more? So if you do use a social media account, which hopefully you do or you will after today, you want to link to your social media account on your website. And then bonus, inspirational and value-driven messaging. So this is, what you care about, what's important to your market. Including stories about your vendors on your market is great. You can really build out more and more content on your website, but you don't have to have that all of that information can live on social media, and you can have a really simple website that just has 1 through 4 here. That's the basics of what you need. So let's just look at a few websites that do this well in Oregon. I cannot say this. I think it's the Clatskanie. Is that right, Amanda?
Clatskanie.
Clatskanie. Okay, the Clatskanie Farmers Collective. So they have a really beautiful website. They have their name front and center. They have value-driven messaging, locals growing locally. They have a beautiful image that supports what that supports farming, right? Immediately tells me that they are a farmers collective. And then up here at the top, we see where it is. The market is in Copes Park, and it's every Saturday, June to September, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Very clear information right when you land on the page. And then you can scroll down on this website, and there are more images and information, but this is really what you need. Oh, they also have their social media right here, which is great. So that is the bare minimum of what we would recommend having on the website. Everything else is a great to have if you have time to add that content, but it's very overwhelming to gather all that information and images and do the writing for websites. Even if you hire a professional to build it, you still have to provide that information. So we just want to give you a very simple entryway into having a website that you really just need those 4 main things. So we'll look at Bend Market here. So they have their name and their logo at the top. They're saying the market is open. That's great to just say, hey, we're open for 2024, Wednesdays, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Brooks Alley. And then they have their social over here. So same thing, it's designed differently, but we still have that information at the top of the page when we're landing on this website. They say here dedicated to feeding Central Oregon. Because they're Bend Farmers Market, I would assume they're in Bend, Oregon, but it would be nice to have that as well, to just spell it out that we're in Bend, Oregon. Okay. So I got another example. Gorge Grown Food Network. So this looks really different than the first 2 examples, but we have the name of the market, or let's see, Hood River Farmers Market in Gorge Grown. I guess they're a part of the Gorge Grown Food Network. Open every Saturday, May 4th to November 23rd, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Columbia Street. So just always including that information, and that's the bare minimum, letting people know that you're open, where you are, and the times that they can come. They do not, I'm not sure if they have, I think they do have a social media account, but they don't have it linked at the top here. I think it's at the footer, and that works too. But if you're using your social media frequently to provide updates and stories to your community of people, we'd recommend having that at the top of the page. Okay, so I would like to show you. Okay, we missed this here. I would like to show you how to build a website on Squarespace in 5 minutes. Okay, so we've used lots of platforms over the years. We like WordPress, we like Shopify, and we like Squarespace. Those are our 3 favorite platforms to work on. Squarespace is the most accessible if you're a small business. They have lots of great built-in tools and features. You can add lots of different things on their site, but you can also make a really simple website yourself that looks good, that you can launch. You don't need to hire a professional to do it. So I'm going to show you a short video that Xavian on my team made for you all to show you how to make this website here. So sorry, it's a little blurry. I'm not sure why, but this is a really basic web page. It has the farmers market name at the top left, a beautiful image. You could also put text over the image if you want. Your market name, this could say we're open, your location, and then open Saturdays, June through August, 8 to 3 p.m. And then we have a link to the Instagram here. This is the bare minimum of information you need. And this is great as like a brochure or a billboard online. And then ideally you'd have a URL or a domain, and it would be your farmersmarketname.com or .org. So let's pop on over here. And we're going to watch this little video. Xavier was going to join us today, but he's out this week. So he made this for you all. Now, Xavier is really friendly and sweet and teaches he does all of our trainings for all of our clients for all the different CMS content management systems that we build on. I asked him to do this quickly for you all. So it's the most serious I think Xavier has ever been in his whole life. So he wanted to make this quick for you. It's 5 minutes, so we're going to watch it together. It's also available on the OFMA website for you to refer back to in the future. I've gotten lots of emails since I've been working with the Oregon Farmers Market Association from different markets on, can we build a website together? Do you build websites? And hiring a professional team to build a website can get really expensive. Especially, we just started using Squarespace recently to make it more accessible, to make building websites more accessible. But when you're building a custom website, it can get really complicated. So we wanted to show you a really simple way for you to be able to do it yourself. Okay.
Welcome, everyone. Today, I'll be going over how to make a simple Squarespace site for your business. First, you'll click on Create Website. Next, you'll choose a template. You'll choose this one. Next, we'll start with this template.
I'm just going to pause here and actually go back because he went so quickly. So there are lots of templates on Squarespace that you can choose from, and lots that would work for a farmer's market. We chose this one. I think it's called Cimen. It's CIMEN because it's a very simple layout that allowed us to show you how to do a very simple layout. So you could just you can just Google this CIMEN Squarespace, and this template would come up, and you could use this. But you could also use a different template if you wanted to.
We'll start with this template and wait for Squarespace to generate a pre-made template for you. The first thing you'll do is give your website a name. We'll just name this one Farmers Market. Next, we will edit the website. First things first, we need a name for our website. As you can see, Squarespace has already taken the liberty of automatically putting the name we entered into the section where it's supposed to go. You do have the option to add a logo here if you would like, but we will not be doing that in today's demonstration. Next is the hero image of the website. This, you'll want to display some pretty looking imagery of your produce or whatever you may be selling. For now, we will use this.
Okay, and here Xavier could either replace that image or he just added a new image to add a new image box. So there's two ways that you can add that image in there.
Great. Now that your image has been added, the next thing we'll need to do is include the important information about your business. We'll go down here to this text section and replace this text with text about your business, such as your business name, where it's located, and what are your hours of operation. Lastly, for this simple website, we will implement any social media that you may or may not have. For that, we'll click on Add Elements. We will enable social links. And it will give you the option to add your different social links, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, what have you. For today's demonstration, we will use the Oregon's Farmers Market as an example. So we'll copy that URL. We'll paste it here. We'll click back and close out. And now whenever somebody selects this link, it will take them to the designated Instagram account. As far as basic go, of course, using what I've shown you in this demo, you can add more images or text to your sites. But for purposes, I'll go ahead and remove all the extra stuff that I no longer need. Hit save. Exit. And there are different pages on the website that you can also use if you'd like. But once again, for today's purposes, we do not need them, so I will delete them. Delete. Delete.
So here, these are additional pages on this template that you could use if you wanted to add an about page. You could just add images and text in there, but we're deleting them just to show you that you can have a one-page, really simple website.
Now that we have our nice simple site how we would like it, we will close out of here and we will start working on making the website live. You can make the website live by completing a few simple steps. The first step is to pay for your Squarespace account. Currently, this is just a demo version. However, once you upgrade it to a paid version, you will be able to publish your website. Next, you'll need to register a domain for your website. The domain is the URL that people will use to find your website. If you do not already have one, you can purchase one from Squarespace. After you have both upgraded your site to the paid version and acquired a domain, you will be able to click this button and set the site to public, meaning that anybody who you want to see your site will be able to access it using the URL domain that you have purchased. That is all for today. I hope this was informative, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye. Welcome, everyone.
Oh.
Today.
Okay, so that is a very quick demo of how to build a very basic brochure website on Squarespace. I'm just going to go over here to show you this interface. So on the left here, you'll see that Squarespace has all of these other really cool features built in that you don't need a designer or developer to work with to implement. So you can add an e-commerce page if you want to sell, if your market has hats and t-shirts that you want to sell online, or if you do a collaboration with an artist to do a poster series, you could sell those. And it's really easy to build an e-commerce page. You can do a contact form. They have great analytics to show you who's coming to your page. Yeah, so lots of great features on Squarespace that you can use yourself. There's also lots of great tutorials. We're showing you specifically how we would recommend you using Squarespace with the information design that we recommend for a farmer's market here. But on the toolkit chapter that we just published today, I'll show you in a little bit, we also included some other Squarespace video tutorials for you on how to do some of the technical things that maybe Xavier went through quickly, like adding an image. There's lots of great resources online. Squarespace sites are about $20 a month. So that's about $240 a year that you would have to budget in, which I think is one of the most affordable ways to build a really good looking website. So let's see here. Let's go back over here. So that's a little bit about Squarespace and websites. I'm going to go into social media now, unless there's lots more we could talk about websites, but I think that having a simple website like that actually makes it easier to manage in the long term because you don't have to update a lot of content. You can log in there, log in when you have your market hours and update those market hours, and And then when your market season closes, you can say close for the season, opening next year at these times. And that's all you really have to change throughout the year. Just go back to it. We call this evergreen content. This is content that doesn't have to change that often. And then so it's really easy to manage. All of your dynamic content, stories, contests, features, event promotions, they can happen on a website, but it's a lot to manage. So if you have the resources to host all of that information on your website, great. But social media is an even easier platform to use to manage all of your dynamic content, all the content that's changing throughout the season. Updating your dynamic content on social media is also great because that's a place that other people are already hanging out. So for your website, you're directing traffic to your website. It's like a brick and mortar shop. That's what your website is. Versus social media, like Facebook and Instagram, those are more like community centers, like your coffee shop, your local community center that other people are already in. They're already hanging out on Facebook and Instagram. And so you're just sharing information in space that they already are. So that's a good way to think about it, that your website is like your brick and mortar shop and your social media accounts are it's your little space within a community center or within a coffee shop that you're able to tell your stories and talk about what you're doing. So any big questions about what I'm talking about with websites here before we get into social media? Okay, great. Beautiful. Okay, great. So then we're going to get into social now. Okay, so social media is always changing and evolving. As even Sherry brought up today, there's rules that, that I haven't even heard about yet. Things are constantly changing and they change in different fields and different industries. There's more and more limitations being put on them. New platforms are evolving every day. So that can feel really kind of overwhelming, I know. So what you want to do is find the community space that the people that you want to connect with are hanging out in. Okay, so these are the big social media platforms right now: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X, which is formerly Twitter. And they all have really different, they're meant for different types of content, and different types of people hang out on these platforms. So the two platforms that I would like to talk about the most today are Facebook and Instagram. I think those are the best platforms for farmers markets. Facebook has the largest audience of all social media platforms. 68% of US adults say that they have used Facebook at some point. And Facebook it started out as a platform that like millennials were using. But right now it is veering older and older. So it's especially popular with people over 55. So if your market audience is a little bit older, then Facebook is a great platform for you to be connecting with them. The Facebook has a lot of great features for farmers markets. It allows for a business profile. If you do choose to use Facebook, don't set up a group page for your market, set up a business page. You can post a lot of different content types on Facebook. You can do specific advertising to reach new customers, and it has great analytics. Make sure that if you are setting up a business page, you want it to be publicly accessible to everyone. Okay, the other platform we're going to talk about today is Instagram. About half of US adults say that they use Instagram. 60% of Instagram's users are under the age 34, and they tend to live in urban areas. The best features of Instagram are it's the best platform for photos. It's a very visual platform, and it's the best platform for photos and one of the best platforms for short form videos. YouTube is obviously the best platform for videos, but they're generally longer form videos. The videos on Instagram are under a minute usually for Reels. Instagram is great for showcasing products with visual appeal, like your fresh produce, flowers, craft items. Farmers markets are naturally very visual. It's a great platform for specific advertising to reach new customers. It's connected with Facebook. So if you post on Instagram, you can just, with a click of a button, you can also post on your Facebook platform. It has great analytics and special tools for businesses. So we're going to focus on Facebook and Instagram today as the best platforms for farmers markets that we would recommend. If you have some kind of partnership with a videographer and you can make really high quality videos, YouTube is a great platform as well. Often that becomes cost prohibitive for organizations. So YouTube is really, it's important to have high quality content if you want to start a YouTube channel. TikTok is steers much younger. So if you're in an urban area and you have a really young customer base, then TikTok might be a good platform for you to consider. X, formerly Twitter, is a really linguistic platform. You can post photos on it. I think you can still post photos on it, but it's really best for short, smart tweets, for short, smart, like snippets of written information. And you really want to be posting frequently on X. So you want to be posting like 2 to 3 times a day, which can get really resource intensive for farmers markets. X is a great platform for reaching media. So it's where a lot of reporters hang out. And so if you're trying to do a lot of outreach to news and media outlets or to reporters, that might be a platform that's worth looking into. But for the most part, we would recommend, maybe there's some outliers for TikTok, YouTube, and X accounts, but we would recommend farmers markets have accounts on Facebook or Instagram or both. So, okay, the best social media platform for you is the one that most of your community, both current and potential new customers, use regularly. So I keep using the phrase hangout, but that's how you might decide if Facebook is better or Instagram is better, or if you have the time and resources to have a page on both. Excuse me. If you won't have the time to regularly update multiple sites with high quality photos or videos, consider sticking to a single platform. I think it's better to have one platform and do it really well. So the top 3 things to communicate on your social media account. Same thing as your website. You're open, where you are, and what times you're open. So if you have already set up your social media account, what do you do next? So your goal on social is to connect with your community and take part in conversations. Folks are interested in the people and the stories surrounding your market, and they enjoy learning about them. So we're going to talk about lots of different types of engaging content today and how you can create that. A lot of different content ideas for you that will help you spur conversations with your community online, to start to tell stories, to feature different vendors. People are really gravitate towards storytelling on social media. A good rule of thumb is the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your posts are entertaining or educational, and 20% are directly advertising your market. And there we're still talking about posts and not advertising. So these are just posts on your grid or on your Facebook feed, not advertisements. Okay, so let's look at a few examples that do this well. So the first thing that we always look at when we are looking at any client that we're working with on their social accounts is first we just look at how they're communicating their primary information. People always read this up here. So you always look to the left. So a logo is great here, or a symbol that is really recognizable with your market. So I am very familiar with Sisters Farmers Market. I know their heart that's used on everything. So it's great that they have their heart here. They have their full name of their market, Sisters Farmers Market. They've designated themselves as a farmers market. This says closed for the season, but I think that they're open right now, but I might have taken this screenshot maybe this spring. So they're open now, but they are noting that they're closed for the season. Join us for opening day on June 2nd. Yeah, I probably took this in May. So, so they have hopefully and most likely updated this closed for the season. They have their dates, their times, just like on their website, and then they have their address here. And then they're using a link tree, which is great. So you can have one link this is their Instagram account. So you can have one link. So you could just link to your website, or you can set up a link tree, which is a free resource that allows you to have multiple links. So you can link to your website. You could link to any other social media accounts you have. You could link to if you have a campaign, like a donation campaign that you're running, if you have an event registration coming up, you can have a series of links on your link tree. And that's something that free that you can set up. Your farmer's market can just create an account on Linktree, and then it'll explain to you. It'll basically ask you what links you just pick a design. It asks you what links you want to add. You add them in, and then it gives you a primary link tree, just a link that you just copy and paste here. Sisters opening information is wonderful. Perfect. It's giving me everything that I need to know about the Sisters Farmers Market, all the logistics. And then this is their grid down here of all of their posts. So this is what I've been talking about with posts. These are, so they also have reels over here. These are short videos. And then these are things that they're tagged. These are different posts that they're tagged in. If there's a circle around their profile picture, that means that they have an active story going on. So you can click their profile picture and you can view their stories on Instagram. And then their stories can also go into highlight reels like this. So this is great that they have put together these highlight reels. So this is just one example of a pretty strong Instagram page. Okay, great. And here's their Facebook as well. So while these platforms are similar, they look different, right? So Facebook gives you this opportunity to have a banner image. So this is a great place to have a big image of your market, to let people know what that experience is going to be like when they visit your market. And then we see that they have 2.6K likes and 2.9K follows, which is great. So I must be following them because there's not a call to action to follow them, but there is a call to action to like here. So, so I could click that. And then if we scroll down the page, in their intro section, they have all of that same information that we talked about. So just having the same information on your different accounts is perfect. Your information should be consistent if you have more than one social account, and it'll just be located in a little bit different place, right? So here they have the same thing: opening day, local veggies, pantry staples, arts and crafts, their address, phone number, email, URL for their website. So this is all wonderful to have all the logistics on the left here. And then they have a really engaging post on the right. We're going to talk about this a little bit more later. Okay, let's look at some other examples. So we saw oh goodness, Klatskanai. Okay, sorry. The Klatskanai Farmers Collective. So we saw their website earlier. They also have a strong Instagram account here. So they're doing a lot of the things that we talked about. They've approached their profile a little bit differently. So they have value-driven messaging, growing a resilient local agricultural system by increasing market opportunities, community engagement, and producer. Sorry, I don't have the rest there. I have to click on more. Hopefully they have their hours on there. Although I think this is the Farmers Collective and not the market. They have the address, which is great. And they also have a link tree set up. So you can click on their link tree to go to multiple links. They also have their highlights reels set up, which is great. So if you click on these, it'll go through different images, different videos of stories. I love how they design this here. So they have their logo just with different colors, which is beautiful. Two things that they're doing that we didn't see with Sisters. One is that they do have an active story here. So do you see this rainbow around their profile image? This means that they're using stories right now, and there's an active story you can check out. So if you click on this, then you can watch that. They are also doing something that I think is really important for all farmers markets on both Facebook and Instagram. They are taking these 3 primary posts here and they've pinned them to the top. Okay, so see this little icon here with the thumb tack? This means that this is pinned. So anytime they post a new post, this is where it's going to appear in the second line here. And this first line, no matter whenever you come to their Instagram account, you are always going to see these 3 posts first unless they unpin them. So this is a great place for you to have your logistics of your hours for the season. So that's what they've featured here, right? Here's their open hours. This is a great place to have an introduction to your market, to talk about the values of your market, how long, whatever storytelling you want to do about your market, to introduce your market. That's great to have up here as well. And it looks like they're also featuring an upcoming, or I guess their events for the summer are up here, which is great. So this is a wonderful way to use Instagram to feature what I was calling dynamic information earlier. It's so easy to unpin this, and then it just goes back down to your grid. And it's just a click of a button. If you go to the post, you'll see the option to pin a post. And that allows you to feature it. And it's so much easier than updating all your information on a website to just pin a post to the top of your account. Okay, another great example is Come Through. So they are doing all the things we've talked about at the top here. They're also using hashtags, which you can use if they're beneficial to you. They have their feature reels, and then they also are pinning their logistics right here to the left. So this is another way you can do it where you're just pinning your logistical information here. Beaverton Market, logistical information at the top. I kind of like that they have this 2024 schedule. That's a great option. They have an active story here. So if we clicked on this, we could go view their stories. And then they're not pinning information, but most of their information is up here in their profile information. Something else that you can do to help build your audience is actually follow people that are in your community, and then they'll often follow you back. So we can see with Beaverton, they have a lot of followers, 11.9 thousand followers, and they're only following 326 people. So they could follow other farmers markets. They could follow, and they might be following other farmers markets, but they could follow other farmers markets in Oregon. They could follow the Oregon Farmers Market Association. They could follow Oregon Tourism. So they could find other accounts that have similar goals to them, or similar values to them. And that can increase their following here, which is great. This is what you really want, is to have a larger following. Although it's not a numbers game, you really want to have a following of people that are value aligned with your market, or that live in your community, that will come to your market. So let's just go back and look here. Yeah, so same thing. We have 370 that they're following, and 12,900 followers here. So so they're not using that strategy. Here we have 750 that they're following. And Sisters is following a lot of people. So you can also follow people in your community to say, hey, we're here. And then they'll get a notification like Sisters Farmers Market is following you. And then they will be more inclined to follow you back. So that is a strategy to build your community. And once people are following you, then your content will more likely show up in their feed when they go to Instagram or when they're in Facebook. So the same strategy, the follow strategy, applies for Facebook as well. Okay, and so we looked at Beaverton Farmers Market, Instagram. So if we look at their Facebook page here, same thing that we saw with Sisters, that they have similar information that they're sharing. It's just located in a different place. So I just wanted to emphasize that you don't have to have different information for different social media platforms. It should actually all be the same, from your website to Instagram to Facebook to your print materials. You should have the same messaging and the same logistical information that you're sharing with people. You're just putting it in a little bit different places, and you're reaching a little bit different demographic of people based on who uses those platforms. Did we look at Ben? So I think we looked at Ben's website. So just another example of a strong social media account. So they have one, they're using their highlight reels here for their CSA. They could definitely add more here and add in a little, like a storytelling reel about Bend Market. They could add more in here. And then OFMA, I think they do a great job with their highlight reels here. So let's talk about some fun ideas of different things that you can share online. Also, we call this content. You all don't ever need to use that word or say that to your target audiences. We just it's kind of in our field, we think of images, writing, videos, animations. It's all different types of content that is shared online. But you all don't need to talk about that. It's just, these are just like different post types. Okay. Okay. So, one really simple idea is to share in-person events and what's going on at your market. Share the in-person experience of your market online by featuring pictures, and you can do short reels of your market, vendors, and products. So if you're having some music at your market, if you're having musicians play, if you have some kind of song and dance, some kind of kids activity, if it's possible to take pictures of those events or to take short videos and share them on your social platform, that is very engaging for people to feel like, oh, this is what it's like to be at their market. You really just want to take the experience and the feeling of being at the market and try and bring it online into your account to share with other people. So you can document events and you can share them retroactively or on the same day. You can also then, if you document a music event, then when you have a music event in the future, you can use that photo again and say, hey, we're having another, music event, or we're having a music series this summer. So you can reuse those photos from events. Now you can take photos with your phone. Maybe you have somebody at your market or a volunteer that is great with phone photography. Most iPhones and some Androids the Google Pixel have great cameras now, and that's all you really need. You can also hire a professional photographer if you have an event to share, or if you have an event that you want to document. You can also share graphics about events, right? Upcoming events. And then also just wanted to talk about National Farmers Market Week. So if you all don't know about it, it's a week every year that we celebrate National Farmers Market Week. And there's a whole kit that's available in our toolkit of free downloads of graphics that you can share on your social media accounts for National Farmers Market Week. You could also host your own events that week and talk about them in relation to National Farmers Market Week. That helps you then tie into something that's happening all over the country. And you can tag and you can hashtag, you can tag other accounts, and you can use hashtags. If National Farmers Market Week has a hashtag, that will loop you into bigger conversations online, and it'll give your posts more visibility. So here's an example of an event where you can use a graphic to promote it, wildlife workshop for farmers market managers. So, so you can do graphics to promote events ahead of time. And then on our toolkit, we also have I think we have some different images from market musician, like a music series that was happening at a farmer's market. That's a great type of event to share. Okay, this is one of my favorites. Share educational information that supports your market ideals and values. Okay, so you could share fun facts about Oregon, information on how to grow food, sustainability, or information on native plants. You could talk about health benefits of the food that you sell, or you could talk about food equity and justice in your region. It's nice to balance joy and information when sharing educational content. So as you hopefully have developed your brand identity for your market, that has helped you put together a set of your brand values, of your market values, what's important to your market. And then that should inform the whatever educational content that you might want to share that your market is excited about. So sharing how to grow food or how farmers are growing food is really low-hanging fruit. That's a no-brainer. Maybe sustainability is really important to your market. So you could do a sustainability series. You could feature different farmers. You could interview them even and ask them what is important to them, or how do they integrate sustainability into their practices? Or you could share facts and information about sustainability. A lot of this content already exists online, so you all could create it if you want, but you could also seek it out and then repost it. So for example, the Oregon Farmers Markets did a whole healthy eating campaign, and they have a series of slider images and these fun facts that we put together for them a few years ago about the health benefits of different produce and different goods that are typically grown in Oregon. So you could just share this, and you could take this actual graphic, go to this post, click on this little button right here. I don't know if y'all can see my mouse. This is your share button. So you can click on this button and you can share this in your stories. You could also take a screenshot of it, and you'd want to ask Oregon Farmers Market or whoever, if you share someone else's content in your post, in your grid, you want to ask for permission, ideally, and then you want to tag them in it to make sure that you're giving them credit for the graphic, or for the information that you're sharing. So this one's about tasty asparagus and how it can lower your blood pressure. This one was about powerhouse raspberries. They're full of antioxidants that help lower risk of diabetes. So I think Ayana asked earlier, what's one strategy how do we think about connecting with our, with people that value align with our market, that aren't just localized. And so sharing information that portrays your values will attract people that are value aligned. And so say that like diabetes is a big problem in your area. Maybe you want to do a healthy eating campaign like this. If you want to do something about Oregon, maybe like Oregon geography and the land, and like I'm really into soil science. I could do a whole nother 2 hours on soil science. So maybe the nutrients in the soil and the land are really important to a lot of your farmers and therefore important to your market. So maybe that's something that you want to talk about and share. So whatever niche, strange, or exciting thing that really portrays the values of your market, sharing that educational information and making it fun and exciting is a great way to connect with people that are value aligned. I also want to share with this post. So in this post, so we have our caption over here. So having a strong caption is really important. Having not too much text on your post, like this is the max, just go here. This is like the max amount of text that I would recommend on a post. the more text that you have on the post, the less well the posts do. Visual posts do better in the algorithms on both platforms. So if you have a post like this, having the graphic behind it, this post will do better and will reach more people than this post that doesn't have any visuals. So if you have a post with a lot of text on it, those are deprioritized by Facebook and Instagram. So having a little bit of text on your post, and you can also, you can do, this is a slider here. So you see the little dots at the bottom. This means that there's 3 graphics. So breaking up, if you have a text-based post, breaking up the information into multiple graphics allows to have less information on the page, and therefore the post will probably be more successful. You can also obviously use your caption for text and information. Okay, and then I also just wanted to talk about, so tagging other accounts on your posts. So if you tag other accounts that might be value aligned or find the information relevant, that's really great. So on this post, this is an OFMA post, they tagged the People's Coast, Travel Oregon. I don't know what this is, ORDEP tag. So I'm sure this was a relevant account for this post. And then Oregon Berries. So maybe Oregon Farmers Market has, I think maybe we did this campaign with Travel Oregon. So we tagged Travel Oregon. So Travel Oregon gets a notification that this post went up, and they can reshare it, which will amplify the post and help it reach new people. But I don't know if we knew Oregon Berries, but we said, hey, we found this account Oregon Berries online, and this is all about berries in Oregon. So let's tag them on this post and let them, they'll get a notification that we're sharing this. So you can tag other accounts in hopes that you'll expand your reach. And when it's the most successful is when they actually reshare the post. So you can reshare other people's posts. Like you can share Oregon Farmers Market posts, and then Oregon Farmers Market can also share your posts as well. You can share posts from other markets. Maybe another market does a healthy eating campaign, or maybe another market does a soil science series, right? And you think it's really interesting, and so you could reshare that. And so the interconnection of information and the resharing of information helps amplify reach for all of you. I hope that makes sense.
Hey, Megan, this might be a good place to answer a question that came up in the chat.
Yeah.
Linnea was asking about the 80-20 rule and saying that they're just so, their capacity really is only to get to about 50-50 on what they can post. And they were wondering, is something better than nothing, or would we actually be better off just not posting anything on social media overall?
So the 80-20 rule was about the type of posts. So it was saying that, let me go back to it. Oh, okay, here. So 80% of your posts are entertaining or educational, and 20% are direct advertising. So so we're saying that ideally that a larger amount of your posts are healthy eating campaigns, Oregon, or they're just images of your vendors. And then a smaller percent, like 20% of them are saying, come to our market, come to our market, come to our market, come to our market. The 80% can be stories about your vendors. It can be all the different ideas that we're talking about here. And it can also just be like reposting other people's content as well. So that's about the type of content, but not about the frequency. So I can talk about frequency a little bit more later, but if you can post at least once a week during your active season, that's wonderful. The internet recommends 3 to 7 times a week. But if that feels overwhelming to you, if you could try and post once a week or once every other week, I think it's much more beneficial to have an account that is not very active, but has correct information and you have a presence. So, it's legit than to not have an account at all. So like having an account, posting that you're open, your hours of operations, and beautiful photos. Like, let's go back here. Even if they had 9 photos here, really, I think if you're not going to post a lot, this is a great example where you have your logistical information at the top. And then you have like 6 images at the bottom. That is better than not having an account at all. So if you can't post once a week, just be strategic about it, about what is actually on your account. Tell people that you're open, all the things that we went over earlier. And then you just don't have to scroll down and have all the extra, you don't have to have the frequency of posting. So the frequency of posting allows you to appear in people's feeds more. Like that's when you log into Instagram or Facebook and you're scrolling and you're seeing graphics. Frequency of posting increases the amount of visibility of appearing in people's feeds. But if you don't have time to manage that, you at least want to have an account if somebody's like, is Sisters Farmers Market real? Or like, when are they open? I use Instagram all the time. I'm going to go look on Instagram. If you don't have an account on Instagram, it's like, well, what? I mean, people aren't going to necessarily think you're not real, but it will increase your legitimacy if you have a simple account with information on it, and even if you don't post frequently. So those are 2 different user scenarios. One is posting frequently and you're using social media to appear in people's feeds and staying visible. But if you don't have the capacity to do that, you at least want to have an account that has the basic information that we talked about earlier. Does that answer that question, Amanda?
Actually, Linnea's saying, I don't think my question is being answered. Linnea, do you want to come off mute and ask?
Hi, this is Linnea. I guess I'm just trying to figure out, because we're right now distinguishing between posts that are, advertisement posts, like come to my market posts, and then this entertainment and education content. And while I do understand the theoretical purpose of the entertainment and education content, that is just usually more time consuming to do than the come to my market content. And so I think I'm just trying to understand if you think that if you do not have capacity to do entertainment and education, should you then do less of the come to my market content and just have, like a more of a passive social media like you're describing, where you just have like your 6 or 9 kind of posts as like, this is who we are, this is the basic information.
Yeah, so I think I am saying the latter, that I wouldn't post over and over again, just like the same graphic that says come to my market. I would have a more passive account like this. Now, if you have a bunch of great photos let's talk about an exception. If you have a bunch of great photos of your market, then you could post a photo once a week, and then in the caption say, and don't put any text on the photo, and then the caption say like, our market's open this weekend. I think that's okay. Does that make sense? You don't have to post educational content, but you don't want to overwhelm people if you don't have the capacity to do it, you don't want to overwhelm people with like posting the same graphic over and over again. You still want like a little bit of diversity of content if you want to post frequently. Does that make sense, Linnea?
It looks like we lost Linnea, unfortunately, but I think that helped clarify things for me. And if they come back, we can always follow up at the very end if they need a little more help.
Okay. That sounds great. I'm making each market day an event associated with your page. What's your opinion on making each market day an event associated with your page? That's I'm seeing a question from Malaya it sounds like a lot of, and they are asking, what is your opinion on making each market day an event associated with your page? My opinion is that that sounds like a lot of work, and I don't think that you need to set up an event. I think having a post like the morning of or the day before is like, reminder, we're open tomorrow from this time, and here's a cute image of a cow or a strawberry or whatever. Visuals of your market are enough if you don't have the capacity to do some of these different things that we're talking about. But I think that seems like a lot of work to do that. I don't know what the return on the investment for creating an event for each market day might be. Maybe if like your market is happening far and few between and maybe different locations, maybe that would be a reason. But if you have a consistent date and time each week through a market season, I don't think you would, I don't know if it would be beneficial to create an event for each one. Okay, I'm going to jump back into this, and then I'll answer questions again after I go through a few more of these ideas here. Okay, so another idea is sharing recipes. You can ask each vendor to share a recipe with you that you can feature on your account and share them throughout the year. You could also do this with market customers and community members. For inspiration, you can check out OFMA's recipe challenge. You could also just encourage your community to participate in the OFMA recipe challenge. If you don't have the capacity to run a recipe challenge yourself or to ask for recipes, these are all just ideas for you all. You don't need to do all of these. You could pick one idea and implement it 1 year, and that would be great. So I guess actually to go back to Linnea's question, the 80-20 is just ideal. You don't have to do that. If you have different photos of your market, you just want to keep posting photos of your market, I think that's great. These are just like extra level up ideas for you that if something seems exciting, see Linnea's back. If something seems exciting, you could do it. And these are kind of like different campaigns that we've run for different clients over the years. So they are a lot of work. I have some friends that run a screen printing company, and they're neighbors to our studio, and they are local. They have a huge local following in the Appalachian region, but then also a national following online. So they have 200 people line up outside their store for their events, and they just have this cult following. And their social strategy is just to post every day a random picture of their shop. So like their shop dog is on their Instagram. They use Instagram primarily, and the shop dog is on their account all the time. Picture of a t-shirt, picture of their front door, picture of the sign, picture of the person working. And their strategy is frequency and just visibility of their shop. So if you have a bunch of, you don't have to post every day, but if you have a bunch of photos of your market, if you just want to keep posting those photos, that's a great strategy as well. So. Okay, so you could do a whole recipe project if you wanted to. And also maybe your market does a recipe cookbook every year and you've never thought about sharing those recipes online. So maybe there are things that you're already doing that are traditions at your market that you could then turn into content on social pretty easily. So that's something to consider as well. You can host contests. So we just saw the recipe contest. Here's a bunch of thoughts: the largest pumpkin, best photo, best recipe. You could create a hashtag for it. You can share all the submissions and you can share the winner. So hosting contests creates what we call crowdsourced content. So other people are giving you images and you're just resharing them and giving them credit. So hosting contests creates a lot of content for then you just have to post it regularly and say, submission by so-and-so from our community, and they can just direct message you images. So they direct message them to you, you screenshot them, you have their account name, and you can post those. So that's called crowdsourced content, and it's a really easy way to not have to create a bunch of your own images, or if you can't hire a photographer, you could do a photo contest and then you have photography from everyone in your community. It's also a great way to feature and highlight people in your community. People love being featured on their local, so-and-so accounts. So here's the photo contest. I think AFMA does a photo contest every year, and they feature a lot of the photos, and it's just a really fun way to bring your community together online. I also just wanted to show you that you can recycle content as well. So like this image is used here for the photo contest. Oh, okay, this is one of the photo contest winners. So you can repost images through time, and you don't always have to have something new. It's great to give it like 6 months maybe before you reuse it. But if you hire a professional photographer to document your market and take pictures of a bunch of your different goods and wares, you can keep using those photos through the years and just use them in different ways. Another example of the AFMA photo contest. Okay, so here's another thing that you can consider: sharing behind the scenes stories of your markets, vendors, or other partners. This can add an engaging personal touch that helps people connect with you. You could also take photos of vendors with their goods and do little feature stories on them. So you could ask your vendors to submit a photo of themselves, and they could answer 3 questions. And if you have every vendor do that, you have content for the whole season. You just have to put the post together. And there are lots of platforms. If you do something like that and you have 25 stories, you can just spend a few hours and set up all the posts ahead of time as drafts, and then schedule them to be posted throughout the season. So then it's not a task to be managed throughout the season. It's something that you do the majority of the work of at one point in time. So that's called scheduling posts. So here's a great example of featuring a vendor. Another example, this is a staff spotlight for AFMA. Another example of featuring a vendor. Yeah, and then we talked about recycling content. So, and we've also talked about sharing content between Facebook and Instagram. So if you choose to use both of those platforms, you can make the same post you can post on Instagram, then you can just click a little button. If you have your accounts, you just need to tie your accounts together, and then you just click a little button and it'll also post to Facebook. So that really expands your reach. And like we talked about, you can repost content through time. People don't mind seeing a picture more than once on your feed, especially if it's iconic to your market. So here's just an example of Sisters Farmers Market doing that, so you can see what I mean. So here they have this post on Instagram, and then the same post is showing up on Facebook. So it looks to me like they actually just shared the exact same post. Some places, if you have the capacity, there are little things that you can tweak in your captions that customize the post more for the platform, but it's really extra to do. And I just think it's a great tool to be able to put the post together on one platform and then automatically share it to the other. Combine efforts with vendors. So we have talked about this a little bit, like sharing content and tagging people. So the same strategy can apply to vendors. Make sure to follow all of your vendor accounts. We talked about following earlier. And you can share their posts on your account and tag them when you do in posts, and especially in stories. Stories is a great place to share other people's content. Ask vendors to tag your market so you can support each other online. And we talked about this already. This is the share button. So we talked about an introduction post, and as you gain new followers, you can reintroduce your market. So what that means is just saying something, well, here, and you want to pin it to the top like we talked about. So here's a draft of a reintroduction caption. You'll all have access to this. You can, if you haven't introduced your market on social, then, or on whatever social account you're using, then you could just reword this a little bit to be a first time introduction. Like, Hi there, we have lots of new folks visiting this page, so we wanted to introduce ourselves. We are, our insert farmers market name here in our location. We're open these days and we started this many years ago. Here's a fun fact about us or something important to us as a market. So you would fill in the blank there. We really care about sustainability is so important to our market and here's why, or we're obsessed with soil science at our market, or I think yeah, whatever you talk about regularly, you would want to reinforce in this message. Thanks for joining our journey. Please come visit our market. So if you haven't done this before, you can just tweak this a little bit and say, hi there. We wanted to just take out this, we have a lot of new folks visiting. Like we wanted to introduce ourselves and go from there, right? And you can make this your own, but this is just kind of a template draft we created for you all. Okay, so we had some questions about frequency of posting and like the educational content versus the more fun content versus the come to our market. And we've talked about that. Posting often lets folks know that you're open. It puts your market top of mind for customers and reminds them to come visit. Unlike email marketing, posting every day is okay during your high season if you have the capacity to post this often. Some people think that you're going to overwhelm people on social, but you will not overwhelm people on social media posting every day. You will overwhelm people with email marketing because it's your inbox. It's a private digital space. And so you don't want to send a bunch of emails to people if you're using MailChimp or doing any kind of email marketing, because you're entering their private space and that can sometimes feel intrusive. And people will unsubscribe from emails. But on social, it's not like that at all. Like you're really kind of competing for space and visibility. So posting frequently, if you have the capacity to do that, is totally fine. In the off season, you can be more dormant. Just be sure to post every once in a while to let folks know you're still around and get them excited for the next season. So as soon as you know your next season's hours, it's great to, if your season starts in the summer and you know in March, when your hours are and when your season's starting, then go ahead and do a post to let folks know that that's happening. And I guess I'd also, in the off season, you can be more dormant. Just be sure to post every once in a while to let folks know that you're still around and get them excited for the next season. So that could just be like, you could do a reflective post. It's like, remember all the fruits and veggies of 2023, aren't they cutie pies? Okay, you don't have to say that unless that's like your brand voice and tone. But whatever you might want to be reminiscent of that happened in the season before, that's a great thing to post in the off season. You can also post about what's happening in the off season if you're letting the land lie, if farmers are planting cover crops, if there are things that are being planted in the winter, you can talk about those things as well. And so we talked about frequency. So in the active season goal, so technically your ideal would be 3 to 7 posts a week. Like I said, if you could do at least one, that would be great. Every other week is fine as well. And then the off season, 1 to 3 posts a month. Okay, so let's recap this. Post engaging content, tag other markets and vendors in posts, share we didn't talk about location. You want to, when you are making a post, ideally you add the location of your market there as well. Respond to comments positively on all posts. We didn't talk about this either, but I think it's more important to post less frequently and to be active in your comments if you have a resource capacity that, you can only spend so much time doing this. If you ask a question, if you have a lot of people engaging in comments on your posts, you really want to, at the bare minimum, like give them a heart. Like go through and heart all of those comments, and that makes people feel seen and it makes them feel in conversation with you. If you have the time to be like, great idea, like thanks, Susie, and You know, we love soil too, or asparagus, like, I'm so glad that this asparagus tip changed your life. The more that you respond to people, people feel seen and heard, and that creates authentic relationships. It's a lot of work to respond to. If you have a lot of captions, to a lot of captions, we have done it on campaigns. Maybe it's a little bit more work for us because we're doing it on behalf of other people. And, you know, because you are able to speak in your authentic market voice and you're representing your market, it might be a little bit easier. But if you have the time to do that, responding to comments is great. Always be positive. If you ever have like a troll comment, I think you can actually delete it, or you can say, like, you could say something like, we only accept positive conversation at, you know, you could use it as a place to reinforce your brand values if you ever have a trolly comment happening. Pin posts with introductions, location, market logistics. We talked about that. Resharing posts. You can reshare posts of yours from you can share your posts to your stories, and you can share other people's posts. Reshare your Instagram posts on Facebook. We talked about that, maximizing engagement, and post at least once a week during the market season. So, I'm just going to go through this last really quick section, and then we can open up the rest of the time for questions. So we've talked about everything we've talked about today is owned media. Okay. We very strongly believe at our studio that markets and anybody that we work with, companies, organizations, need to have strong owned media first. Owned media are all the accounts and the spaces that you own the narrative and that you're creating all the content. Okay. When you boost your posts, you're boosting your owned media, which is great. That gets new eyes on content, and on both Instagram and Facebook. When you're boosting posts, you can select the demographic. So you can decide who you want to be targeting with that boosted post. And that helps you, you know, think about age. If you have any, if you geared more toward males or females attending your market, if location is important to you, or you want to expand location to the next town, you can get very hyper diligent with how you're targeting your boosted posts. You can also do that with advertising, but advertisements on Instagram and Facebook are a whole nother animal, and that starts to become more of like outbound marketing. And we don't believe in spending advertising dollars until you have really strong owned media. That's what we advise all of our clients. Okay, so there's owned media, paid media, which is advertising, and then earned media. Okay, so we always like to have strong owned media, and then we look at earned media, and then we look at paid media last, advertising. So features on other websites and accounts, this would be earned media. This is when other people are seeing what you're doing and they are excited about it, or you've sent them a press release, or you've sent them a gift basket. You've somehow reached out to them and said, hey, will you tell our story? That this is a great way to use the internet to be featured in stories on other websites. So in a quick Google, I found that Come Through Market is doing a really amazing job with this. They have all of these different features. So here they're featured on EcoTrust, Come Through Market, and market centering Black and Indigenous farmers and makers. So they're always reasserting their core value that they're a Black and Indigenous market. So having whatever phrase that might be for you all, that for each of your different markets, that assesses like, this is our identity and this reflects our core values, and then just repeating that everywhere on all your owned media, then other people start talking about you in earned media like this. So EcoTrust. So here's Farmers Market Coalition did a post on Come Through Market. So this can be done on websites. It can be done on social media where people are sharing your posts, or they are sharing information about you. Here they have another feature. Okay, so this is just like a quick look at how to think about earned media. Earned media is basically being featured on other people's accounts on other websites. And so that's the next step after you have a strong owned media, you have a website and you have a strong social media presence that you're managing. Okay. With that, I'm just going to show you. A lot of this information that I have gone over today is on OFMA's beautiful website. So they have a resource library, and we've created all the resources in the brand and marketing toolkit. There are, I think, 5 to 6 chapters that you can go and watch all the other videos that we've created. So we just published this chapter today, the last chapter on on your online presence. And we specifically focused on social media in this chapter here. We have the overview actually of Squarespace right here. Here's the video that we watched today, so you can watch that again. Overview of the different platforms that we talked about. Examples of just what to do when you first set up your account. Here are all the different tips of sharing engaging content with links. So you can dive deeper into what we talked about today. Some different visual examples, though you all have seen many more in this workshop. And then this section is important. So these are tools and resources that we've curated for you to do a lot of the things that we've talked about today. So here's a Squarespace tutorial, another one, Squarespace for beginners. These are general tutorials, so ours is specific for you all, but you could watch all of them. If you don't have an Instagram account, but you want one, here is the video on how to set that up. And then we also included, we haven't talked about this much today, but Canva tutorials. Canva is a free resource to create graphics. They have some great templates. You can also hire a designer to make templates for you if you have a brand. We create a lot of templates on Canva. We have gone over Canva pretty extensively in our last workshop, our print workshop. And you can use Canva the same way if you want to go revisit some of our Canva information in the print workshop. You can use Canva in the same way to create digital graphics for social. And then we've got 2 tutorials here. And then some FAQs. How frequently should I be posting? What are some other ways to level up? Do I need to hire a professional photographer? How do I direct people visiting my market to my digital spaces? How do you use social media in the off season? So we've gone over a lot of these today. And yeah, great. So we talked about Canva, and we also talked about Linktree. So there's information here on that. So with that, we've got 15 minutes left. I'm going to stop my share here. I think I addressed most of the questions I got at the beginning of the workshop, but let's just open up the last minutes of time here for questions.
Yeah, we did have a few to circle back around to. I think there's a quick one about responding to comments. Darcy had a question about influencers. And then I did want to come back, maybe Sherry's question about the hullabaloo between Apple and Meta and their fees. Sherry, I don't think we have an answer for you, but I did look that up during the break and saw that is happening in well, I guess I'm answering it right now. Facebook seems to be pretty upset about it, and they're actually here's a link to they're telling their own customers how to avoid those charges because they're not happy about them either, apparently. So, but I think we just aren't prepared to give you an in-depth answer on that today, Sherry. I'm sorry. But yeah, do we want to get Linnea? Do you want to ask your question about comments, and then maybe we can do Darcy's question? Or if Linnea can't come off mute right now, they were just asking, they get, and this is such a great problem to have, but they get a lot of comments about love this market and such a good day. And they said that They're often not sure what to say to those types of comments and they just end up hearting it. Is there something more they should be doing, or is hearting those comments okay?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think if you have the capacity to write back, I think it's great to give an affirmation like, thank you, that means so much to us. Or I mentioned earlier, reflecting your brand values. So if somebody says, I love this market, you could say, thank you, that means so much to us. Our community and our people make up our market. And it means the world when, we get this kind of feedback from people. Or if you have a comment that, yeah, I'm trying to think of what other kind of brand values you could reinforce, but if your market is really people focused, if it's about community, if it's about food in the community, you could say something like, love this. If someone says, love this market, thank you so much. We try and provide, fill in the blank, safe, healthy, and equitable food to everyone in our community. We're glad that it means something to you. So that's an opportunity to reinforce the values of your market. But at the very least, you could just say, thanks means so much, or such a good day. The event seemed transformative to so many kids, I hope that answers that question. I'm looking through the questions. And if you can just heart it, just heart it. That's better than nothing. So that gives that feedback loop, it like sets off something in people's brains, like a little dopamine hit, like somebody, and they get a notification that someone responded back to their comment. So
Darcy, do you want to ask about influencers?
Sure. Thanks, Amanda. So I hear a lot about social media influencers. I think I know what they are, but maybe you could just provide a little overview. And like, how could we leverage these social media influencers? Is there a way?
yeah. Okay. So there's lots of ways to engage with social media influencers. So basically, social media influencers are just people that have really big followings on social media, and that's really the baseline of it. And many of them capitalize on that following and earn a living doing that. Some don't, and some do. And it's really kind of mysterious who does and who doesn't, and people don't talk about it. But you can basically identify an influencer based on like their followers and how many people are following their account. Okay. A lot of times they will have in their profile, if you want to do something with them, if you want to do a collaboration, or if you want your brand or your product featured, they'll have direction on how to contact them. They'll say, contact my agent. If they do that, that means it's going to be some kind of paid collaboration. Or email me. I don't reply to direct messages. That means they're getting a lot of direct messages, and that you'll just know it might be more competitive to hear back from them. You can also just direct message them. So if they don't have something like that, you can send them a message and ask them if they want to do a collaboration with you. So two things to consider if you're doing that. One is first finding people that value align with your market. So it wouldn't make sense for a farmer's market that is featuring all carrots all year to contact a fashion influencer in New York City, right? So like you just like showing the opposites. You want to find if your market loves carrots and features carrots, then you might want to look for an influencer in Oregon that loves farmers markets. Okay. So that would be like the lowest hanging fruit for most of your farmers markets, to do some research to find people that love food or love farmers markets or love organic or love sustainable, like whatever's value aligned with you in Oregon. Okay. But maybe like you're that carrot market I talked about. So maybe there's like a carrot influencer somewhere that's obsessed with carrots. So like that's a different way. It doesn't have to be location based. Maybe they're like I'm a person that tries carrots from all over the world, right? So then your market could message that, you could DM them, you could send them a direct message on Facebook or Instagram. Probably most influencers that it's more like an Instagram world thing. You could say, hi, we're the so-and-so market. We're located in Bend, Oregon, and we're a nonprofit, and we this is like what's important to us. And we love carrots, and we only grow carrots. And we were wondering if we sent you some carrots, would you be willing to try them and talk about if you like them or not on your social account? We won't be able to compensate you with monies because we're a nonprofit, but we could send you a plethora of carrots for the next year. Okay. So this is just an example, right? So finding somebody that has some kind of alignment. So it could be value alignment, it could be product alignment. Another idea would be like someone that like a traveler, and maybe they have an upcoming trip to Oregon. Or maybe it's an adventure person in Oregon that loves to do rock climbing and outdoor. They have a big account around their outdoor stuff. You could, so it doesn't, maybe they are not talking about food, but you could send them a food basket. So the two invites one would be like, come to my market and come experience it. And then we'll shower you with gifts and give you a tour. And if you wouldn't mind like documenting your experience, that's one way you could do it. And then the other way would be to send them something in the mail, like a food basket or your carrots or, some kind of value add product, and ask them they could do like an unboxing or whatever you want to watch what they do. And then just imagine like your products or your thing in that. Like some people just do unboxings. They just like open packages and, you hear okay. So does that answer your question? Okay, great. Any other questions?
It looks like Jessica and Malaya have a question about e-newsletters, which before I let Megan answer that, I want to say that's almost like a whole nother webinar to talk about e-newsletters, but and we only have like 3 minutes left. But Megan, if you can give us just like quick, maybe using social media for increasing newsletter readership, maybe, and then if you can give Malaya is a newsletter recommended?
Okay, so we do lots of newsletters. We really love MailChimp. I recommend MailChimp. I recommend keeping your newsletter as visual as possible and scannable when you're designing it. So having images in there really makes all the difference. Having if you have articles in there, having short articles that people can read. If you are doing it in a letter format, have a lot of returns. Okay, so like break up written content in your newsletters when you're putting them together. Make sure that you have strong owned media first. You have a website that you're pushing. A newsletter should be pushing people to things. So it should be pushing them to the website, pushing them to your social media accounts. If you want to, if you have a newsletter strategy is a big part of your communication strategy, and you have a big following, or you want to build a following, add a newsletter capture, an email capture to your website, which you can do on that Squarespace platform I showed you earlier really easily, so that you're capturing emails. You want to continue to capture emails if you're using newsletters a lot. On social, you can have your link tree, and I think you can do some kind of newsletter capture that you're pushing people to. So you go to the link tree, you get the little pop-up, and then there's a link that says join our newsletter, to stay up to date. So you want to be, wherever you have other digital spaces, be trying to capture new emails so that you have people in your, that your newsletter is going to more and more people. The last idea I could bring up is like, if you are doing articles in your newsletter, you could do teasers on your social media, like amazing story about the carrot lady. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm on hour 2 here. Amazing story about the carrot vendor. And like, here's like a quick little snippet. Read the full story in our next newsletter. If you haven't signed up to our newsletter, link in bio to sign up. So you could do teasers on your social. of fun little stories or things happening. You know, there's a pickle giveaway. To find out more about it, it's in our newsletter coming out next week. So, okay. That's all I
Megan.
got on
Thank you.
newsletters. Okay.
Yeah, and we just put in the chat, come to our next peer learning circle next Tuesday. We're going to keep talking about online presence and specifically about Farmers Market Week. So we can keep talking about these things and the ways you're using social media and your communications. Thank you, Megan.